What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global here, back with another video. In this one, the New England Patriots have made a few moves here before tomorrow's game against the Houston Texans, as they have activated running back Sony Michel off the injured reserve. And, of course, to make room for him, they decided to release guard/center Hjalte Froholdt. Now, we haven't seen Sony Michel all that much this season in his third year in the NFL. Now, he only played 3 games this season, and then he was originally placed on the injured reserve, and then he was placed on the COVID list, and then he was placed on the injured reserve. So it's clearly been a whirlwind of a season for a guy like Sony Michel, just really not able to get on the field. But of course, because of that absence, the New England Patriots have been able to play Damien Harris much more, which is really what carved out the role for Harris to become the New England Patriots' #1 running back. Now, before he was placed on the injured reserve, before he was placed on the COVID list, against the Raiders, he actually had his best game since the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs, in which the Patriots wanted to go ahead and win Super Bowl 53, in which he rushed for 117 yards on 9 carries. This is the best that we saw from Sony Michel in over a year, and was one of the best showcasings that we've seen from his entire career. I mean, averaging 13 yards per attempt, it's pretty amazing. I don't think that you can argue that. But at the same time, before week 3, before Damien Harris even entered the game and Sony Michel was still considered the leading back, he still was not doing much. Of course, it was still limited opportunities, but the statistics he was putting up were extremely underwhelming. I mean, week 1 against the Miami Dolphins, he got 10 rush attempts for just 37 yards, which was 3.7 yards per attempt and a touchdown. Week 2 against Seattle, he got 7 rush attempts for just 19 yards, averaging 2.7 yards per rush attempt. And then when he gets put on the injured reserve, Damien Harris gets activated. Harris has had multiple 100-yard rushing games. I just do not see how Sony Michel comes back and wins that starting job as long as Damien Harris is healthy. Damien Harris is the lead back. Damien Harris is a big reason why this running game is as strong as it is. He's extremely consistent, and Sony has proved that he is just not that. He has issues staying healthy, and he's just not consistent week in and week out. One week he can rush for 117 yards. The next week he's going to rush for just 19. One week he'll average 13 yards per carry. The next he'll average 2.7. And I've heard a lot of people hyping up Sony Michel, saying that, before he was placed on injury reserve, he was looking really good. And you know what? Yeah, against the Raiders, he was looking good. Except that was the only game that he was actually looking like a good, consistent running back. Again, statistically, you look at all the games before that, and he was not consistent. And it seems like the Pats weren't even all that confident in making him a consistent lead back and consistently giving him rush attempts. Because look they were only giving him 10 week 1, 7 week 7, or 7 week 2, and 9 week 3. And then you look at how the Patriots were using Damien Harris in his first week in the NFL. Pats gave him 17 rush attempts, then 6, then 10, then 16, then 14, then 22 this past week. And I know that a lot of people's question marks with when Sony Michel comes back is what happens to Damien Harris. And I don't expect anything truly to change with Damien Harris. And I think Belichick knows that himself. You look at the stats, you look at the production, you look at how versatile these guys are. Damien Harris is a more versatile running back. And I just don't see how Sony Michel comes in and just takes that role back. I do expect him to still get some time, some rush attempts here, but I don't expect it to be greatly taken away from somebody like Damien Harris. I mean, I would even say that Rex Burkhead is a better and more consistent running back than Sony Michel is. But I will say this, is that if there's any week where Sony Michel is going to be productive, any week where he can gain some confidence, it's going to be this week, because the Houston Texans are ranked dead last in the NFL in run defense. So this could be a really big week for the New England Patriots running backs. All in all, though, what does Sony Michel here bring to the New England Patriots? He's going to bring some experience, but he's also going to bring depth. And that's going to be the biggest thing here for the Pats. If a running back goes down, at least they have Sony Michel. Honestly, that is going to be the biggest thing here. They are running heavily and relying heavily on their running game for this season. So if a guy goes down, you got to have somebody who's going to be ready to go up. And that is going to be the big thing that Sony brings right now. Now, y'all, real quick, NFL football continues on this week, which has a few surprise teams at the top of the standings. And you might not be able to be at a game this year, but you can still be in with all of the action at BetOnline. Now, no matter how schedules change or players that play, BetOnline is going that extra mile to make sure that you can get in on every game this season with the fastest updated odds in the industry. And there's always going to be more options to wager than anywhere online. All you have to do is head to BetOnline today and take advantage of all of their great mid-season bonuses, offers, and contests. Again, that is BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Now, of course, the second part of this video, which leans heavily on the first part, is that the Patriots did release guard/center Hjalte Froholdt, a former 2019 fourth-round draft pick by the New England Patriots. He did not play at all his rookie season. He was actually placed on injured reserve before making the intentional roster, which means he spent the entire 2019 season on IR. Now, we did get to see him a little bit in the preseason before he was placed on injured reserve. He didn't look bad to start. Then, as things went on, you could tell that he was still making some rookie mistakes, but nonetheless, he was a guy that we all kind of figured would take place for potentially a guy like Joe Thuney. We all expected Joe Thuney to move on in free agency. We didn't expect Bill Belichick to place that franchise tag on him, but he did. And of course, that has obviously left a lot of questions on where somebody like Hjalte Froholdt does fit in. He is somebody that I thought, and a lot of experts thought, that would fit really well into the New England Patriots system. He's a guy that excels very well in pass protection, which is something that the New England Patriots essentially like to do. That is what their offense for years has been based around when Tom Brady was here, was a pass-heavy team. Now, of course, Brady left, and now we really switched up to a run-heavy type of offense, and that is their scheme at this point, which could be part of the reason why Froholdt has not seen as much success here. Let's also remember that the Patriots do have a rising star in Michael Onwenu, who also plays guard, but has been playing tackle as of late because the Patriots have starting right guard in Shaq Mason and starting left guard in Joe Thuney. So really, there's no place for someone like Onwenu except for tackle. And Onwenu 120% is better than someone like Froholdt. So the problem with Froholdt really is just the fact that there's no place for him at this current time, and he had to be that odd man out. We've seen a little bit of Froholdt within the preseason. We've seen a little bit of him in this year's regular season with all of the issues that the Pats have had with injuries, with COVID lists, having to maneuver this offensive line. We have seen Froholdt a little bit there. Whether that was guard, whether that was center, I do think that he's a guy that can still be a very good player in this league. Do I think that he'll be all pro? No, but I still think that he could be a very, very viable option for the Patriots down the road. Of course, releasing him is never what you want. Like I said, he is a guy who I really like, of course, being a fourth-round pick just in 2019. There's a lot of upside there that I think the New England Patriots just aren't able to pursue right now because they just have so much depth there at the position. Now, we'll have to see if he clears waivers. Honestly, there's a gut feeling telling me that he will, but you really never know with, the NFL being a heavy-based offensive line type of sport, This is at the point of the season where we're about to head into the postseason, and teams could really look to add some depth within that offensive line. And Froholdt, again, has not been a terrible player. Someone could potentially pick him up to be an added depth piece, but the Patriots 100% are hoping to get Froholdt back on the practice squad and then go from there, activate him if they need to at some point, but hopefully look to have him find some type of carved out role in the future. But that is going to be it for today's video. What are your guys' thoughts on the New England Patriots activating running back Sony Michel and releasing guard/center Hjalte Froholdt? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Like always, though, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.